about the benefits of selling that property, the property that maybe the married couple owns together, and they're getting a divorce? What are the benefits of selling the property versus getting bought out by one of the parties?
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot of considerations. First of all, what's the market like? If it's hot and you're interested in selling it, splitting the proceeds and going your separate ways, that might be a good move for you strategically. There's also the consideration of if you're the party that may not have worked during the marriage, you were a homemaker or either worked part-time. If you sell the property, will you have the income to qualify for a mortgage? That might be a factor that really tips the scale in terms of what you want to do with the property. Another item would be, can I afford to stay in the house if you're willing to buy your spouse out? Now you're going from a two-income household with one property to support to now having two different residences. And oftentimes in a typical family, that really tightens the finances, and people simply aren't able to keep and maintain a property on just one income. And then finally, a lot of people often have an emotional attachment to the home. You know, maybe that was the first home they ever owned, or it's the home that they raised their kids in. So it's not really a question of what's better for me financially, but I have this emotional attachment. I really want to keep it. And then it becomes, let's value the property and figure out what the other spouse is entitled to. Let's buy them out. We can either give them their interest by letting them keep a retirement asset of equal value, some cash, whatever it may be. And then you might also have the next factor of refinancing them if you'd like to keep the home to remove the other person's name from the debt because they're not going to want to stay on the loan.
Right. Yeah, that's I like, two of those things that you said. One, market conditions, and then the other thing is just
Mhm.
aside from market conditions, I would hope that people can make mutual decisions that are best for kids when there's kids involved and stuff like that. But on the market condition side, it's interesting, especially like in today's market, because values have been growing at such a rapid pace, just a crazy
Yeah.
rapid pace, that someone may get an appraisal to figure out how they can buy out their spouse, and that
Mhm.
appraiser, that number that they give is probably going to be actually lower than what the house would sell for on the open market in today's market.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of
Mhm.
times when we're doing a comparable market analysis, figuring, well, based on these sales, this is what this house is worth, and then we put it on the market, and then if it sells for above list price, so it's like in today's market conditions,
Mhm.
there's probably going to be a lot of success with that sale and bringing in top dollar. Whereas the appraisal, it's probably going to be a number that kind of comes in a little bit lower. So for market conditions, depending on which side you are on that, I could see the benefits of wanting to buy out or wanting to sell. But all in all, hopefully, both parties can make a mutual decision that's for the benefit of everyone, and especially if there's kids involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, before you ever go in front of a judge and ask for a trial date, parties have to go to a mediation or make some sort of settlement negotiation, whether that's a conference or something more formal. And it's not uncommon, especially in recent times with the market being so hot, that people are coming into these mediations and settlement conferences with competing appraisals or some sort of expert to pop in and say, for whatever your position is, I think the price is actually going to be this. And here's all these comps, here's what's
Right.
going on in the market. Your appraisal is way too low.
Hmm.
So it really becomes helpful for a negotiation to have that information and go ahead and hire an expert, hire a real estate, a realtor, and really go into that settlement conference with some good numbers and information so you can make your point and argue for whatever you want, whether it's trying to keep the house and reduce the amount of money you have to pay to your spouse to buy them out, or if you're trying to get more in retirement cash or some other asset by sticking a really high price, high dollar number next to the house, if that person wants to keep it so that you can get more of another marital asset.
Yeah. And I just actually looked at one of these situations recently, someone they're going through a divorce and they're considering this very topic of, does one party buy out the other one, or do they put it on the market? And they had an appraisal done, and I saw the appraisal, and what I think it could actually sell for in today's market, the appraisal is probably at least $40,000 to $50,000 off of what it could probably sell for in today's market.
Mhm.
So it's just a interesting thing, that, there's a lot of aspects to it, and one is just the money and market condition side, which could have extreme differences about those, and then the other is just that hopefully everyone's making the mutual decision that's best for everybody and for children if they're involved.